Welcome to episode 113 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please go over, join. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a bit out of breath right now. It's just because I'm rushing to get this podcast in today, and I forgot to put my phone on silent. Awesome. So, yeah. It's in the afternoon. It's going to get dark outside real soon, so the lighting in here is not the best. But it's either this or no podcast. So I decided to just go ahead and, do it like this. I'm wearing my finished object of the week. I'm going to talk about it now. So, knitting in the past. I finished the Mold Mania cardigan by Stephen West, and I absolutely love it. So this is what it looks like from the front. You can't really see anything, but this is it. These are my colors. I love it. The back is, of course, you can see everything in the back. So here is it. Here it is. It's finished. It's done. It's super warm, super snuggly, very cozy. And if I actually should get cold, I can fold these in and over and put a shawl pin to keep it, So I love this thing. It's a very weird shape for a cardigan, but it's amazing. I might have to make another one. I don't know yet, but I'm really happy with it. So I used a ton of yarn for this. This was my project bag, and the pattern looks like this. This is it. Mold Mania cardigan by Stephen West. I did the shorter version, and I used up a lot of yarn. So for the ribbing and the sleeve ribbing, I used this yarn here. That's Drops Alpaca Silk. Here, that's the one. And I held this together with a skein of yarn from Elfenwolle. I only have a tag because I used up every last bit of the yarn. And I had on one of the sleeves, I had this much of the yarn in the end to weave in. So I finished one sleeve, knit the second, and I realized I will not have enough yarn. So what I did was I threaded my needles in again on the first sleeve that I had already done, ripped it out until I hit my needles, knit the other sleeve to the point I had this sleeve, and then I bound off, and like I said, I had this much yarn to weave in the end. So could have been better, but it worked. So here I am. Now, I knit the whole cardigan on a 5mm needle. That's a US 8. I had wound 6 skeins of yarn. Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had wound 7 skeins of yarn. One for holding together with the alpaca stuff for all the ribbing, and then 7 others. This skein here is from Pandia's Jewels. It's her snug base in the triple colorway. And from this I have a lot left over. Then I wound this skein of yarn that exploded on me on my winding thingy, so I have 2 balls. And it is Verdandi, hand-dyed from a German indie dyer that I received as a gift. And it's a cotton blend, actually. Then I had this yarn here, and this is from Frau Odersocke. She's a German indie dyer, and I had 2 of her skeins of yarn. This one's one of hers as well. Okay, so I think this goes together. Does it? No. See, now I'm not sure. No, it does. So this is the label for this yarn here. Then I had this skein here, and this has 5% mohair in it, and I actually can feel the mohair. So that was this one yarn here. It's from Martens Art, another German indie dyer. Then I have this yarn here, and no tag to go with it, I think. Do I? I have no idea. This another German indie dyed yarn And I had another skein that I used up completely. That was green and brown colored. So yeah, there's a lot of yarn in this sweater. Lots and lots of yarn. And I'm just so happy with how it turned out. I'm glad that I decided to stick with a color scheme for this one. If I should do another one, I would kind of do it very colorful, but keep the ribbing in a gray. You know, just do gray for the ribbing and then everything else for the whole rest of the sweater. And it's very possible that I will make a second one because I enjoyed knitting this thing so much. And I started it on October 20th and I finished on November 19th. So it's exactly a month. And yeah, it's very warm actually. So yeah, it's done. I'm so happy. Now, I'm sorry for the glary thing on my glasses, but I cannot do this without glasses. Yeah, it's not happening. So after I had finished this, I needed to cast on stuff. And I did cast on a lot of stuff. I have 3 new projects on my needles. 3 here. But for knitting in the present, I'm going to show you what I had already started first. So in my Donald Duck bag, I have the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting it on a US 5. That's a 3.75 millimeter needle. Here is the picture. I'm using 7 different skeins of yarn. The pattern calls for 4 colors, but 6 skeins. And because I'm using more than my 4 colors, I need more skeins because it wouldn't work out otherwise. I started the second quadrant. This is going to be the left front piece, and I'm in the second color. I have the first piece finished. I'm going to show it to you again, and I'm not going to talk you through the yarn because it hasn't changed, and we would be here forever. So this is the right back piece, and I have the left front started. That is actually the exact same piece, but with different shaping in the end. So yeah, that's this one. And yeah, I'm still not too sure if I will like it in the end or not, but I'm going to finish it anyways. So that's that. Then my 3 new things. I started a Nook. Here it is. I started a Nook sweater. That's basically a sleeveless top-down raglan. And I didn't bring the pattern, but it's from the first issue of Len magazine. And it's also a downloadable pattern on Ravelry. So I am using 1 skein of yarn, and it's called Gomitolo 200. It's from Lana Grossa. It was one of my dentist reward yarns that I got, and it is 1 gigantic skein, 200 grams, 700 meters of yarn. And I have, like I said, started the Nook and did the shaping for the neckline, and I'm now doing the raglan increases, and I think the colors on this are really nice. It's going to be a bit striped, this reddish plummy color with gold stripes. And yeah, this is I need to knit something, but I don't want to, think about stuff. I'm going to work on this. And this is actually used to shape bread normally. But when my son was very small, he discovered this in a little cupboard in the kitchen, and he used it to, he put his hand on top and just shoved it all over the floor, so it's not usable for food anymore, but it's a great little yarn bowl. So that's what I'm doing with that. I don't know. There's nothing else to talk about. It's a raglan sweater, stockinette stitch. Nothing going on. And then I have 2 more interesting things started. One of them is right here on my table, so I'm going to start with this one. I started this 2 days ago, and it is the Ingalls sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I'm a bit obsessed with Caitlin Hunter because I think her patterns are very stylish, and I wish I was a bit more stylish, so I'm knitting her things. And I had one of the yarns in my stash, and it is this yarn here. It's from my friend Sandra from Kunterbunte Wolle. It is a sparkly DK weight yarn. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I decided, oh, it's DK, so it's perfect for the ingalls. And I bought the pattern, and then I needed to get a yarn as a main color. So I decided to go with Wollmeise DK, and I put the skein of yarn on my laptop and then went on the internet and decided on a yarn to go with this, hoping that the colors would be very true to the picture I saw on my computer. And I think it turned out amazing. So what I ended up buying is Wollmeise DK in the Grand Mer colorway. I hope that's how you say it. I don't speak French. It's not focusing, is it? Focused. Oh well. It's a very dark eggplant color. You know, it's very dark purple. And I am already in the yoke pattern, and I think that it was a great idea. I'm loving this. I think this is going to be really, really pretty. The colors aren't really showing up because this is not a blackish brown. It's actually a really nice dark purple. And yeah, I started the yoke pattern and I'm just very happy with it. So this is going to show you one of them so far. There's a little lace pattern in the yoke where you have your floats behind. Not quite sure why, because in my opinion, you can't really see it all that well, but I did it anyways. So this is this sweater. It has shaping for the neckline, and it's going to be really nice. The sweater is designed with so much positive ease that I am actually knitting a size small. I usually need to knit a size medium or sometimes a large, but small is just not really my size that I need. But for this, I'm going with a small, and it's going to turn out great. Also, this yarn is a little bit thicker than this yarn, which I don't really mind, because then that way the color work just pops out a bit more. And I'm doing my color work again in just one hand and just dropping the yarn and using the other one instead. So that works best for me, I found. I tried several different methods, and that's the one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to show you the back as well, because I think it's turning out quite nice. So here's the floats. I had one row in here, where you can see here, exactly here, where I had to catch the float because it was so long. And it does not show on the front, which is a good thing, you know. So yeah, that's the Ingalls by Caitlin Hunter. I'm enjoying this a lot. I think this will be really nice in the end. I'm knitting it on, what am I knitting this on? I'm knitting on a 4mm on die craft needles. My favorites. So just all around enjoyable project that needs a place to go. Oh, in here. Perfect. Marlene, stell mir nichts an. Nein. So, and then the other thing I started, I decided to take part in the Blame Dunder knit along. It's a fairly new podcast. It's the Knitting Vicariously podcast. And I just decided to go with it because I wanted to cast this project on anyways. And it just, you know, worked together. So I started the So Day cardigan. I've been talking about this cardigan for a while. And I've been saying that I really wanted to start, and now I did. It lives in my Britex Fabrics bag. And so I don't think that I have a real picture to show, but I can show you some things. I've knit quite a bit on this, and I need one of the labels, and I need this thing here. So Day cardigan. We had a rough start. Let me tell you that. I'm knitting on this only in the morning when everyone else is gone. you know, when my son is in kindergarten, my husband's upstairs working or away for work, and I need the whole table because, and I'm going to show this from very far away because I don't want you to be able to see anything, but I need to knit all of these at once. So that was the first hurdle, and I don't really mind, you know, it's just different charts, but I need just a lot of space to put them down, and I have two large rulers that I put on the line that I'm working on, and a postcard for another chart, and it's just, yeah, it's a lot. But my real problem was with it is a saddle shoulder cardigan, and I had a real problem with the chart because there were two symbols, well, four actually, mirrored, two symbols that were mirrored, that I couldn't find any explanation for. And I mean, a cable, you know, I can do a cable. But for these, I didn't find any explanation. And then I found the Ravelry group for the designer, and she had made videos for knitting the first 6 rows of the sweater. And then I knew, oh, okay, that's how you do it, no problem. And then I got kind of angry because I thought, why on earth don't they explain stuff? Yeah, when I had almost finished all of the stuff that I had to do, I found the explanations. The problem was, you know, I opened the magazine and I copied the pages of the pattern so I could write stuff in. And it was, I'm going to use this here for explaining. So pattern, 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 and in the end of this page it said finishing, wet block, leave to dry. And you know, after that it says finishing. I don't go further because that's the end of the pattern. Yeah, if I had just turned the page one more time, you know, on this page after the actual pattern, I'd had all the explanations for all the cables and increases and everything, and I didn't because, you know, it had said finishing. So after finishing there's a new pattern. So yeah. Not their fault that I'm an idiot, you know. But yeah, here it is. This is my Sode cardigan. And I really enjoy this. I love cables. I love knitting cables. I love the look of cables, and they have always been my favorite thing to knit. So here it is. Now, will you please stop doing that? Good. So this is it. Now what the thing under my knee, my nose here, that thing, that's the back of the sweater. Then this here with the stack cable. Where is the stack cable? There it is. This is the sleeve. This is the saddle up here. And then you have a normal sleeve cap, raglan, whatever, not sure. And then there's the front. So I have all the stitches for the front now that I need. I need to do some more increases for the sleeves before I can separate the sleeves. And then it's going to be smooth sailing because there's no increases and nothing. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I love cables. Knitting cables gives me a lot of joy. My problem is the yarn. I love the yarn. It's great yarn. I'm using Rowan Fine Art Aran Weight in this dusky, plummy, purpley, pink colorway. My problem is this yarn has 20% mohair. And when I knit with this yarn, it's, you know, I can knit like maybe 6 to 10 rows a day. And I really get, it really hurts my finger. You know, I have this rubbing feeling that I normally don't get. So I really hope that I will be able to wear this. If not, I'm going to cry, really cry. But you know, I'm not naked under my sweaters. I mean, I only have a tank top under this one, but this is not itchy. So this one, I'm going to have to wear a turtleneck underneath and hope for the best, because I'm not knitting a bloody gigantic cable sweater and not be able to wear it. So, I mean, if I put it on me now, it does itch a bit and it does feel a bit uncomfortable, but not horrible. So, you know, if I wear something underneath, I will be fine. So yeah, Sode cardigan on the needles. And now that I have everything that I need, you know, that I've found all the explanations and everything, it's super simple. It's just a cable, you know. everything that looks super complicated is always knit just one stitch at a time. So if you are afraid to do this, watch the videos that Hiroko Payne, who's the designer, put up on her YouTube channel. And when you do that, you can totally knit the sweater. I mean, I wouldn't choose it as my first sweater ever because the construction is a bit weird, you know. But yeah, if you've knit a sweater before, you are comfortable with cables, just go for it. I am doing my cables without a cable needle. I always do, unless they are too large, you know, when you have to do 4/4, I usually use a cable needle because that's just too many stitches to wrangle without a cable needle. But everything that goes up to 3, I'm comfortable just cabling it without a cable needle. So I'm using a US 8 for that. It's a 5mm needle, and that is a needle size bigger than a pattern calls for. And my yarn is actually a teeny bit thinner. So the original yarn is Labianame Aran weight that has 166 meters. My yarn has 170 meters, and I just have 10 skeins, which gives me enough yarn to knit size M, but I would need, according to pattern, a size large. So what I decided to do is go up a needle size and hope for the best. And as it's an open front cardigan, I mean, you know, it will work. It has to work. Now, knitting in the future. I want to start a sweater for Tim because he's been asking for a sweater for a long time. And every time I knit on something, he's like, oh, is that for me? And every time I have to tell him, no, that's for mommy. So I'm going to start a sweater for him probably tomorrow. So that's that. Then of course, there's no spinning because I still don't want to spin. I don't know what's wrong with me. Spinning used to be the thing I did was, you know, I spun all the time, and now I just don't like to spin at all. And I just don't know why. So, new stuff. Where did I put my new stuff? It's here. I got the Wollmeise DK, and I ordered 3 skeins of it just to be on the safe side. And here are the other 2. I only wound one of them so far. It's like I said, the Grand Mère colorway. Yeah, it's Wollmeise DK. I love it. I love that I'm able to actually buy stuff from the Wollmeise shop, because a few years ago you just couldn't, because she put stuff up and it was gone. Like 2 minutes later, it was all gone. And now you can actually order stuff again, and I'm happy about that because I like her yarn a lot, and I have lots of it because, you know, I only live like 2 hours away from her, so I've been there. And then I have some other things to show. My mom went to a Christmas market where she helped one of her friends, and there was a lady who sold yarn. So I told my mom, you know what, just bring me stuff. And she did. So this is from Johanna's Regenbogengarne. It's ein gefachtes Garn, which means it's like, it's not plied, it's just, you know, I don't know how to explain this, but I got this one, which is this sandy to brown, like it's a beige over different browns to a dark brown, and it has a gold thread going all the way through. And this is 1,000 meters, so I want to do probably another nook or a nook-ish sweater out of this. Top down raglan, use up everything I have. And I also got 3 of her smaller skeins that have like 350 meters. Yeah, is it? Yeah, 350 meters. And that's one of the colors. It's this berry color. Then I have a red with a bit of green. And then I have green. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with these. They are super soft, so I'm not sure yet. I will find something. So we go away. And then the, I'm going to say the coolest thing. I received my Hedgehog Club. I am a member of the Potluck Club. And she put up new club subscriptions last week, and I got another round because I enjoy this so much. And this time they are amazing. I mean, they are always amazing, but sometimes it's just absolutely not my color, because if it's royal blue with shocking pink, that's just, you know, it's not me. And this time, I mean, they're all potlucks, so I can show everything. I received this one here. And this is just, if this does not scream my name, I'm not sure. It's different purples with orange and yellow and just, oh. And then there's this one. These are both normal sock yarns. And then I got one single, a skein of singles. And that's the only one. I love it, but I could never wear it because, boom, it's highlighter pink with a royal purple. And it's not coming across. You know, this is shocking, shocking pink. And I have absolutely no idea what to do with it. But I kind of like it. I thought about, my mom was here when I received this, and we kind of toyed with the idea of using this as the contrast yarn from the Ingalls sweater, because it would look amazing with the grand mère. But I said I wouldn't wear it because this is just not a color I want to wear. So yeah, no idea what to do with this one. But I will find something, I'm sure. So yeah, that was the last shipment for this round, but I have signed up for 3 more months because I enjoy this so much. So that's my new stuff. For reading, listening, watching. Oh God, I'm still reading Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I'm actually not sure if I read since I last talked to you or not. I'm just, yeah, I'm not even halfway through. I do want to know what happens. You know, it's not that I'm not going to not finish the book. I think I never not finished a book. Even if I hated it, I read it till the end. And someone just said, you know, just skip the uninteresting stuff. I can't. No, when it comes to books, I need to read every single word. And yeah, so I will finish it. I will. For listening, I finished reaching, what? That was an interesting word. I finished listening to Sapphire Blue. That's the second book in the Ruby Red trilogy, and I am currently listening to the Emerald Green. That's the last book in the trilogy, and I'm about an hour away from the end. So I'm almost done. And I watched stuff. Where did I put it? Here. I had ordered a lot of Marvel movies because I love them, and I didn't have all of them. And then I decided to do Marvel weekend because my husband and my son gave me a free weekend from Saturday morning through Sunday afternoon. And I watched a bunch of movies then. And then this week, when my husband had to go away for work again, after I put him in bed, I watched a movie every evening. So I brought all except for one of the movies that I watched. So the first thing that I watched was Justice League. And I'm just going to say, it's okay. It's not great. I liked it, didn't love it. Still love Wonder Woman. I think she's amazing. The rest I'm not sure yet. I'm excited to watch the Aquaman film just to see if DC can, you know, make another banger like Wonder Woman. But we will see. It was okay. It wasn't great. And in the same day, I watched this one. And oh my God, I love this one. Spider-Man Homecoming. I've watched all the Spider-Man movies. I liked Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I liked Andrew Garfield, but I love Tom Holland as Garfield. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man because he is exactly what I had in my head when I thought about Peter Parker. You know, I grew up watching Spider-Man, the animated series, and I loved Spider-Man. And this is just perfect. It's a great, great movie. And I've actually watched it twice already because I watched it alone and I watched it with my husband, who enjoyed it as well. So this is a great, great movie, and I'm very excited for the second one. So Tom Holland, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man so far. So that was on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I decided to do Thor Day. And I watched all 3 Thor movies. So that's the first one. It's just called Thor. Then the second one, The Dark Kingdom. I liked this one better than the first one. But the third, the Thor Ragnarok, which in Germany is called Tag der Entscheidung. And I'm not sure why, because, you know, the word Ragnarok from Norse mythology is a word. So I'm not sure. Germans are weird. So yeah, I watched Thor Ragnarok and I absolutely loved it. It was so funny. It was funny and action and just wonderful. I do love Loki. I think he's one of the best villains because he is an asshole. You know, he is a villain, but also he kind of isn't, and then he is again, and then he's not, and it's just like, I like him a lot. Yeah. So Thor Ragnarok, wonderful movie. And then I watched, what else did I watch? I watched Avengers that I don't have on DVD yet. I ordered it because, you know, I want to have them all, because Netflix, it's there and then it's gone, and then it's there and then it's gone, and I just don't understand. So I got the Marvel movies all on DVD, almost all. Still missing Ant-Man and Black Panther. But I watched Avengers. And yesterday evening, while knitting on the Ingalls sweater, I decided to rewatch Captain America. And I know this is still in the packet, but I've seen it before on Netflix, and I watched it again on Netflix yesterday. So I watched Captain America yesterday, and when that was out, you know, finished, I thought, okay, you could watch Doctor Strange, but I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, so I want to pay attention to the movie, which means I cannot knit color work. So I decided to watch Kingsman instead. The first Kingsman movie. Because the 2 Kingsman movies are amazing and I love them. So that's what I did. I did a lot of movie watching and I did a lot less YouTube stuff watching, which I think was good. It was good for me. So yeah, it was a long talk for reading, listening, watching. I normally have that very short, but this time I actually had stuff to talk about. So I also have some sewing. Today is 2 of my friends' birthday. 2 of my knit group girls have their birthday today, and we will go out for dinner in like 2 hours, all of us, the whole knit group, with husbands and everything. So we're a big table of people, and I made project bags for them. And I hope I managed to make bags that are perfect for the people. So for my friend Petra, I made this project bag. And I feel like she looks like a goddess. So, yeah. And my friend is very, in sync with Earth. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I just felt like this is a perfect project bag for her. And I used the same fabric on the back, but I just made sure that I had the goddess somewhat centered. I didn't really manage. I feel like she's a bit leaning to one side, but and on the inside I used a orange batik fabric. So that's the project bag from my friend Petra, and I'm really happy with it. I hope she will love it. And then my friend Sandra loves Frida Kahlo, and I have decided to make a project bag for her inspired by her. And I wanted to have a machine embroidery file, to do machine embroidery for the iconic head crown, flower crown, and the unibrow and everything. I only found one that I kind of liked, but it was a pack of like 6 different files that I would never need. So I decided to do something different. And I've decided to try my hand at freehand machine embroidery. So I used my normal sewing machine, put in a embroidery foot, and put my fabric into a normal embroidery hoop and just swooshed it around like this. I think it's okay. I think you can tell what it is, and I showed a picture of my stories, and a lot of people just sent me the words, "Oh, it's Frida," so you can tell. I'm not sure. I mean, this is like, yeah, this is my freehand machine embroidery skills right there. The hook on the nose, no idea what happened there, but I decided to leave it in and not fuss with it. So yeah, that's freehand machine embroidery for you. It's the first time I did something like this. So for that, I think it turned out quite okay. But yeah, it could be better. So I did my my project bag on this has this faux suede fabric at the bottom, and I did the exact same thing for the back. And on the inside, I have a satiny white polka dot, so she could actually put in some spinning fiber as well if she wanted to. But yeah, this is the project bag that I made for my friend Sandra with Frida Kahlo's head stylized in freehand machine embroidery. So I'm going to show it to you once more because I think it turned out quite nice. You know, for the first time I did this, it turned out quite all right. So these are the two project bags that I made today. And I'm going to wrap them up and gift them in 2 hours. So that's why I'm podcasting now, because I really wanted to show these. Everything else. I have 2 things, like always. The date for the next VKN. Our next VKN will be on Saturday, December 1st, on 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. Yeah, on December 1st at 9 p.m. GMT +1, because we are back to normal time. And I just hope to see you there. And we had some new people last time. It was amazing to see new faces, but you know, doesn't mean that I don't like to see the people who are already there all the time, because I love everyone. And the weekends always are, they give me a lot of joy. So I'm glad that I decided to do that a while ago. So it's the first thing. Second thing, like always, a little bit of mental health talk. And if you don't like to hear that, just go away. Don't press the thumbs down button because you don't want to hear that. You can just leave, you know, that's easier for everyone. So I have one little thing. It's a big thing, but it's one little sentence. And this is the core of my being, and that is the constant feeling of not being enough. Not being thin enough, not being pretty enough, not being a good enough mother, a good enough teacher, a good enough wife, good enough household juggling person, you know, just the not enough feeling that I have. And I've had that feeling forever. I cannot remember not feeling like that. And I just don't know why, because, you know, I actually think it could be worse. Of course it could be better. It could always be better. You know, we could always evolve to be better a version of ourselves. But oh yeah, it's a struggle. It really is a struggle. And I'm also one of those people who, when something doesn't really work out in a group, you know, you have one person in a group who decides, you know what, I'm going to go without explanation, without anything. I'm constantly and always blaming myself first. Oh, I'm sure it's my fault. Always. But okay. This not enough thing, it drives me crazy, because, you know, I walk on the scale and I was like, not thin enough, because, you know, I am not a big girl. But when I started dating my husband 15 years ago, I was 45 pounds less than I am now, and I was the same height. That's a lot. And, you know, I know what I used to look like. So that's one thing. But I also am way too lazy to actually diet. I hate dieting. I love food. That's the problem. And I hate exercise. So, you know, that's just a bad combination for not feeling thin enough. And the other thing, when you feel like you're just not pretty enough to be a pretty girl, you know, like this week, I realized that even the most beautiful people have their insecurities about the way they look. And I realized that because I'm not sure if you know Cheryl Cole. She's an English singer, and she's my age, and she is one of, in my opinion, just the way I see things, one of the most beautiful women out there. I haven't seen every woman on the planet, so I cannot say she's the most beautiful person on the planet, but she's just beautiful. And she had her face done. And now she looks a bit like herself and a bit like someone else. And I realized that this feeling of not being good enough, not being enough, isn't something that only I have. Because if someone who is so beautiful finds that she's not enough and has stuff done to change, I'm allowed to feel like that. But I don't want to feel like that. I hate that. I hate that feeling. So maybe that is a reason why I love these superhero movies so much, because they are more than enough. You know what I mean? I know I'm weird. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. Was ist los? Ich kann grad nicht. Yeah. I'm also not talking to myself. I mean, sometimes I am. But my cat is sitting right there on the floor. So he's just looking at me and doing his. Hör bitte auf. So yeah. If you have any tips, or if you feel like you're not enough as well, I actually don't know what you can do about it, because I have yet to learn to be okay with who I am. I just know that I'm sick and tired of this feeling, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Just the not enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not, it sucks. It really sucks. And I want it to go away. So I am going to read a few books that maybe help with that, and then we'll see what happens. Happy deal. So now, that was a bit weird, but that's me. I hope you have a wonderful time. I will go a bit off the grid for a few days. That's what I also wanted to say. I decided to do a little bit of a social media break. I mean, a little bit. I'm actually talking really just a little bit, like till the end of next week, because I want to see if that maybe makes me feel a bit better, because I think that social media and media without the social can really affect the way we look at ourselves. And I'm going to stay away from that for a few days and see what happens. So don't worry if you're posting stuff and I'm not liking it. I'm not there. So I'm going to take a few days off. I'm going to podcast next week, or maybe in 2 weeks. Don't worry, I will not go anywhere. I'm just going to take a little bit of a break for a few days and see what happens. So that's it. I am going to go now because I need to get ready for the birthdays. I still need to wrap the gifts and, get everything done. So I hope you all have a wonderful time. I will talk to you in 10 days, probably. And until then, enjoy everything you do, and always remember, you are enough. Don't worry, it's going to be great. So, bye.